This video is going to show you how to build a sheet bag with a pocket for a winch handle. This is one of our best sheet bags and it accommodates your winch handle. This bag does not require many materials, but will give you a list. You need Phifertex mesh fabric, and you can choose the color. You need 4-ounce Dacron or some other similar fabric to accommodate a chafe protection. Elastic, pull it up fasteners, and you can see here by the list which ones you need. And then you also need thread, V69 or V92. This list, along with the patterns, are available in a PDF that accompany this video. So click on the PDF and print out the material list and also the patterns. We're going to quickly show these patterns on the video, even though we do recommend you print out the PDF that has it on there, and that PDF accompanies this video. These are the lines that you'll draw on that first pattern. These are the cut lines for the second pattern. You can pause this video anytime if you'd like, but it's better to do the PDF. And then these are the lines that you'll draw on that second pattern. And the last pattern is a Dacron pattern. Those previous ones were put on the Phifertex. This one's actually Dacron, but it can be a vinyl. Anything that helps in preventing chafe from the winch handle being put in the pocket is an okay material to use. So if you don't have Dacron, use something else. Once you have that PDF printed out, we'll get started cutting it out. You can see here Deb's cutting out the Phifertex material. The red lines are the cut lines. The black lines are just the simple hem lines or lines that are needed to build the project for reference. And she's using a pair of scissors. There's no reason to use a hot knife. The Phifertex material does not unravel. So just use a good sharp pair of scissors and cut that pattern out. Here's what the 3 fabric blanks look like when they're cut out. Okay. Let's get started.
We have the Dacron liner that will go in here, and we'll make a 1/2-inch hem in the corners here. And when we sew our 1/2-inch hem, it will catch the Dacron on this side, but not on this side. It will run loose here when you're doing this hem and this hem. And you're seaming those together. That way it has drainage coming out of the pocket, yet you got your Dacron protection on your inside pocket. First we're going to sew through this.
Show me the line on the other side before you...
Do what? Oh. You got the line here?
There you go. Hold on. Hold it up.
And you make the line so you can pretty much see through. And just sew up to the top. This will simply hold the Dacron in place while you're making your pocket. Okay, next we're going to install the piece of elastic. We don't want it to go across the Dacron, so we just lay it over where you've already sewn the Dacron down, maybe about a 1/2 inch. This line that's across the top is your hem for the top of the pocket. That'll go all the way across. We want to tack the elastic down at that point right there. If you don't tack it down ahead of time, you could lose it inside the pocket, and it's next to nothing to try to get it out of there. You really got to fight with it if it gets caught off. So you want to tack that a couple different times here. Make sure it'll hold. To the opposite end here and take it just into this line, because you want this to lay flat for your final stitching. So just put it just over that line, bring your hem down, and then we want to just tack the end of it. Okay, that way you have your elastic tacked down. It's not gonna go into your hem. So what you do then is you just take your hem, fold it over, slide your elastic up to the edge, keeping it out of the way. You want to make your hem across the top. Hold your elastic up there, and you want to sew across without catching your elastic. Once you get to this point, you can pull your elastic, hold your hem, and hold. Push your elastic up in there, make sure you're not going to catch it. Just go as far as is comfortable for you. And then I would back tack at that point. And you'll have your fold coming over. Fold that right over your dacron. Carry it right out to the end. And that's the top hem. Measure in 4¼ inches here. So we have somewhat of a guideline to go by.
This line's being put on the rectangular section of fabric, the piece that doesn't have any of those extra cutouts in it. So this is the rectangular piece of Phifertex.
For when you get the bottom sewed, then this seam's going to be sewn also. We'll use that as our seam line, and we can line it up. Okay. So now we're going to close up our corners. We have a 1/2 inch seam here. We're going to catch our dacron on the back side of this hem, but on the short piece, we're going to let it go. We're just going to sew on the inside, missing the dacron.
When Deb sews this corner, she actually goes over that line that we created on the fabric. We don't want to do that. We actually want to stop at that line. She'll show you in other portions, but she forgets that in this first portion of the closing up the corners. She'll show you in the other one. So you should stop there at that line.
That way your dacron's loose. Do this corner the same way. Your stitch line should line up with your 1 inch mark. You want to start sewing at that 1 inch mark to leave it open. Miss your dacron on this side again. Back tack at the 1 inch line. Back tack at your corner. Okay. Then you make your pocket. Your dacron is loose. Now it'll get caught when it gets sewn in later. If you would like to tack that down now, you can, to hold it in place, but it allows for water or anything to go ahead and go through the pocket at this point. There won't be anything to hold those seams together. It can just go through the bottom, but yet it protects the inside of the pocket. Tack it down just a little bit here. Sometimes it helps just to tack it down just a little bit, just so it holds it where it needs to for when you're putting the next application together. Okay, and then we will come back toward that same seam with that cutout, and again start and stop at that 1 inch line. Don't go past that. and make sure you pull this 1 inch back from your other pocket you made. Only go up to your 1 inch line. So that once that is opened and your corners come out, you have 1 inch holding down here that's not sewn into the pocket. We're going to close this corner up, but you see now that this 1 inch that comes down here will be sewing that on the line that we made 4 1/4 inches in, and just sew right up that same seam there. This 1 inch here, as you'll see later, will come up and this will be folded into there, completing the bottom, which we'll show you here in a little bit. Okay, the last corner we do the same thing, come down to the 1 inch and stop the 1/2 inch corner. Which that will split from your stopping at your 1 inch. That will split open so that it gets brought into the same way with closing up the corner.